Hello everyone, my name is David McNee. I'm currently studying for a PhD in analytical chemistry. Now this means I don't really care about making new things or changing anything that's there. No, I'm interested in counting things. And I count things to answer questions about the world and questions about ourselves. That's a very interesting question that I'll be putting to you today. You see, a couple of years ago, a group of scientists were investigating the mummified remains of some prehistoric people. And they were interested in knowing whether about these people's society and diet. They wanted to know what if, like our early societies, in these places the rich and powerful people ate all the meat and the poor people ate all the vegetables. And you can do this through something called isotope ratio analysis. Now, what does that mean? Well, isotope means literally same place. Two different elements existing at the same place in the periodic table. Two different elements existing at the same place in the periodic table. Chemically identical, but with slight differences in the weight. Now, one way you can think about this is if you've got me here, standing here right now, and another slightly fatter version of me standing here right now. Unless the judges are incredibly fattest, they're not going to be able to judge between us. In our lives, we will be very similar. We will live and laugh and love in a very similar way. Until you ask us to run up and down 50 flights of stairs in quick succession. The one who is slightly thinner will be able to do it slightly faster. And isotopes work in a very similar way. Chemically identical, but with slight differences in weight. Well, what does this have to do with a mummy's lunch? Well, something like 80% of the air that we breathe is made up of nitrogen, and round about 99.5% of the nitrogen is made up of boring old nitrogen 14, whereas half of 1% is made up of nitrogen 15. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, David, you cannot show differences in quantity using your hands. They're both the same size. I know, this one is far away. I need an optical illusion of perspective to show a difference in quantity. Right, so 99%, 14, 0.5%, 15. And this nitrogen gets taken up by bacteria in the soil and then passed to plants, plants to animals, and animals to humans up the food chain. But it's not that simple. Being in a living system is a bit like running up and down 50 flights of stairs. The nitrogen 15 is very heavy and slow and lazy. And once it's in the living system, it kind of wants to hang around. Whilst the 14 can go and do whatever it likes. Therefore, once you're in a living system, like a plant, the nitrogen 15 gets slightly concentrated. And then moved up to an animal, slightly concentrated again. Now to a person, concentrated even further. This means that if you take a tissue sample of someone who has been dead for hundreds or thousands of years, you can tell where they were on the food chain by the ratio of isotopes between nitrogen 14 to nitrogen 15. And the interesting thing these scientists discovered was that these people were not only carnivores, they were carnivores of carnivores. And there aren't an awful lot of big carnivores running around in the desert. So the question is, what were they eating? Or maybe, who were they eating?